projecting Alabama's 2025 football season. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Kangaroo Black coming back once again to project my Alabama Crimson Tide's 2025 football season. And if you've been watching me long enough, you already know which way this is going to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. And I'm going to start out by telling you about my Alabama Crimson Tide entering the 2025 season. Coach Kalen DeBoer, his second year. Defensive coordinator Kane Womack, his second year. Offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, first year as the offensive coordinator for my Alabama Crimson Tide. And I'm telling y'all right now, Ryan Grubb will be one of the best offensive coordinators in college football in 2025, if not the best. Okay, we got a lot of returning starters on both sides of the ball. Mind you, we're going to have a first-year quarterback who I think is going to be Ty Simpson, but that will be figured out, during fall camp. So, but it is Ty Simpson's job to lose. We returning J.M. Miller at running back. Also, Richard Young will be running back number 2. Wide receiver core. We don't even really got to talk about that. All right. With Ryan Williams, Jeremy Bernard, incoming transfer Isaiah Horton from Miami. All right. Rico Scott, I think he might have a big year. It'll be his first year at getting a significant amount of playing time. Also, we got Jalen Hale coming back. So, yeah, we got a lot of players. Jalen Mbakwe moved to the offensive side of the ball at wide receiver. Plus, we got more. I mean, plenty more. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this offense. Defensively, we bring back a lot of guys. We lost Jahad Campbell last season, but I think Justin Jefferson will be taking his place. Secondary, we lost Devontae Smith, Malachi Moore, but Keon Saab and Bray Hubbard, they're gonna handle that. All right. It's been put out there by the pundits, the media, that Alabama might have the best secondary in the country. I really hope so. We're looking good on the corners. We're bringing back both starting cornerbacks from last season, all right? Plus, we got a highly touted true freshman, Dejon Lee at cornerback, who should see some playing time. So I'm really excited about this 2025 Alabama football team. I know it's some names that I missed. Can't think of everybody right offhand, but we're going to have, a very, very good team. I ain't even mentioned the defensive line, with Tim Keenan and Smith and who else we got? Tim Keenan, Smith, L.T. Overton. So, yeah, and I'm talking about James Smith, L.T. Overton, and the rest of the guys. But let's get into this schedule. All right. Week 1, August the 30th, we got Florida State. And this is a road game for Alabama. But I don't think we'll have any issues with Florida State. Florida State, they got a transfer quarterback from Boston College, Tommy Castellanos. Who else they got? They got Squirrel White, transfer wide receiver. They still got what's the guy name? He's a transfer from Alabama. So they still got him. A lot of those, they still got running back transfer from Alabama. They still got him. So Roydell Williams, the running back from Alabama. So, but Florida State, you can only go by the previous year, all right? I do think they'll be better this season, but it's not going to change overnight. I can tell you that right now. They're not going to make a significant, I don't think they're going to have any significant changes as far as their record. They went 2-10. I think they can win 4 to 5 games in 2025, but it won't be against my Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, I know they got 2 new offensive coordinators, Gus Malzahn as the offensive coordinator, Tony White as the defensive coordinator. But guess, like I said, from last season to this season, I don't see any big changes. As I said, I give them 4 to 5 wins at most. But one of those 4 to 5 wins won't be against my Alabama Crimson Tide. So I'm picking Alabama to beat Florida State, and Alabama start off 1-0. You know, the next week, September the 6th, ULM home game. That's a win. No need to talk about it. Then Wisconsin come to Tuscaloosa. Wisconsin, that team, man, you don't really know what you get year in and year out. But the thing is, Wisconsin has put together some great seasons in the past. Here lately, not so much. But Wisconsin, from going back to last season when we played them, didn't have any issues. I don't see any issues this year with Wisconsin. So Alabama going to beat Wisconsin in week 3. Start out the season 3-0. As you see, this ain't going to take long for OKB to predict Alabama's season. Then we got a bye week. All right. In week 4, September the 20th. Coming out the bye week, September 27th, we got UGA in Athens. So a road game for Alabama. Georgia ain't lost a home game since 2019. I think they like 34. They got a 34 game home win streak, something like that. 34, 32. It doesn't matter. But anyway, talking about this Georgia Bulldog football team, they lost so much. I mean, they lost a lot. Just looking at the offense, I think they lost like 8 to 9 guys off that offensive side of the ball. Carson Beck, quarterback, transferred to Miami. Trevor Etienne, running back, NFL. Jared Wilson, center. Tate Ratledge, guard. Dylan Fairchild, guard. Xavier Truss, tackle. Arian Smith, wide receiver. Dominic Lovett, wide receiver. They lost all those guys off the offensive side of the ball. Not saying that their offense is going to be stagnant, because I don't believe it. This is a Kirby Smart coach team. So Kirby Smart always have 4 and 5 stars waiting. Not only waiting when they're backups, they get playing time. Okay. So, but anyway, they're going to have a first-year star quarterback in Gunnar Stockton, who I think is going to be a pretty good quarterback. Nate Frazier, if he stay healthy, he's going to be a hell of a running back. I'm going to tell you that right now. He's going to be a hell of a running back. Defense, they lost a lot of guys. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 10 guys off that defensive side of the ball. Warren Brinson, Nazir Stackhouse, Tyron Ingram-Dawkins, Jalen Humphries, Zion Lowe, Mikael Williams, Chaz Chambliss, Jalen Walker, probably the best defensive player for the Georgia Bulldogs last season. Smael-Mondon. So, but it's a Georgia defense. You know, we talk about how Georgia, since 2021, all Georgia defenses is getting compared to that 2021 defense. And you just can't field a 2021 Georgia defense every single year. Okay? Do I think Georgia will take a step back? Probably. Do I think they'll have a pretty good season? Yes. Remember, they had all those issues last season and still won the SEC championship. They had the most dropped balls in college football. I don't think that's going to happen this season. They brought in Zachariah Branch from USC. They also brought in another wide receiver. I forget from where, but they got 2 pretty good wide receivers through the transfer portal. So that should be good. That should help them out a lot. I don't think they'll have the most drop balls this season. Okay. Georgia Bulldogs, they're going to be pretty good this season, as usual. But for them, I got to say my Alabama Crimson Tide going to beat Georgia for the simple fact that Georgia has not gave me any reason to think that they will beat my Alabama Crimson Tide. Do I think Georgia going to give us a tough game? Yes, as usual. And plus, it's in Athens. Now, Georgia fans will say, hey, y'all haven't beat us in Athens or whatever. All right. I know the last 2 times we went to Athens, we won. And when we play everywhere else, we win. Outside of, I guess that was in Indiana when we played that national championship, wherever it was when they beat us. Outside of that, Georgia has not given anybody any reason to think that they can beat Alabama. All right. So I'm picking my Alabama Crimson Tide to beat Georgia in Athens, September 27th. The only thing Georgia got going for them in this game is that win streak. Okay. So It's not like they can't be beat in Athens. I know they haven't lost a game in Athens since 2019, but they have came close. All right. Just like they didn't came close to beating my Alabama Crimson Tide, but they ain't did it. And they ain't lost in Athens. But they ain't played Alabama. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, Alabama beats Georgia in Athens September 27th to go 4-0. All right. October the 4th, Vandy. That's a home game. We lost to Vandy last season. Tough loss. Even though Diego Pavia, he did what he did. He ran for over 100 yards. I think he passed for like 2 something. All fine and dandy. All right. Diego Pavia was the newcomer. As I said, I compared Diego Pavia's first year in the SEC to Johnny Manziel's first year in the SEC. All right. He has been figured out. I'm going to tell you that. I'm telling you, man, Diego Pavia ain't going to be nothing compared to what he was last year for this Alabama Crimson Tide. Do I think Vandy can win 7 games this year like they did last year? No, I don't. No, I don't. And one of those losses will be against my Alabama Crimson Tide. It will be. I'm not finna talk all day about damn Vandy because there's no reason to. There has never been a reason to talk about Vandy football. Okay? Vandy was a one-off last season. Yeah, they got that win against my Alabama Crimson Tide. Diego Pavia coming into this season, confident, talking loud and proud, saying they gonna, do this to Alabama. They gonna run Tennessee and all of this stuff. Well, we about to find out. But I don't believe Diego Pavia can lead Vandy to a win, a second straight win against my Alabama Crimson Tide, especially in Tuscaloosa. I'm going to leave it at that. Vandy gets the win October the 4th against Vandy to go 5-0. All right. October the 11th, Missouri. That's a road game. Okay. We got to go to Columbia, Missouri. Missouri 2023 was a one-off. All right. You see, they couldn't repeat that last season. Missouri, Eli Drinkwitz just went back to what they always have been, in 2024. I said it. That was a one-off in 2023, which they went 11-1 or 10-2 or whatever they went. It was a one-off. Missouri does not field a good football team. Missouri can't compete in the SEC at a high level year in and year out. It just won't happen. And guess what? 2025 is going to be the same daggone way as 2024. Matter of fact, they didn't even score on Alabama last year. And guess what? We're going to go to Columbia. I'm not going to say they ain't going to score, but they definitely ain't going to win. And I got Alabama winning that game by a wide margin. All right. Alabama beats Missouri October the 11th to go 6-0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0. Then we got Tennessee at home October the 18th. Third Saturday in October. We lost to Tennessee. But guess what? Tennessee, man, they got a pretty good team down there. Josh Heupel got them boys doing good, man. They returning most of their offensive starters. Most of their defensive starters, they returning most of them. At least 7 or 8 of them. Okay? They returning both defensive ends, both linebackers, three defensive backs. So that defense should be pretty good, man. It should show some resemblance of last year's defense. Last year, them guys had a hell of a defense, man. A hell of a defense. But even with that, we should have still beat them guys last year, man. We got 3 turnovers, couldn't score, you know what I'm saying, due to quarterback play. But Tennessee got hell of a defense. And then on the offense, they got another new quarterback. Joey Aguilar transferred from UCLA. Even though he didn't play at UCLA, he all his college playing days is over at Appalachian State. Okay, so we'll see what Joey Aguilar brings to the Tennessee Volunteers. They lost, obviously we know they lost Nico if Joey Aguilar is the quarterback. They also lost Squirrel White. He transferred to Florida State. But anyway, they bringing back wide receiver Chris Brazzell, couple of offensive linemen, and tight end Miles Kessler. Miles Kessler transfers from Alabama. But like I said, they replacing guys on that offensive line, 2 to 3 of them. But Running back. They got let me see. Dylan Sampson. Yep, he left via the daggone. I mean, he left. He got drafted. Okay. Probably the best running one. He was one of the best running backs in the SEC last year, if not the best running back in the SEC last year. Dylan Sampson, he was basically the whole running game. All right, but they got Deshaun Bishop taking his place. Deshaun Bishop got playing time last season. Maybe he'll be a pretty good quarterback. Running back, but I don't think he will be the type of running back that Dylan Sampson was. No way, no how. Now, this game is being played in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee have issues winning in Tuscaloosa just like Auburn do. All right. I know Tennessee done beat us at home in Neyland Stadium the past 2 times we done went down there. But they have issues in Tuscaloosa. Now, I think Tennessee's defense is going to be pretty good, but I think the offense is going to take a step back. And with that being said, Alabama gets the win over Tennessee at home in Bryant-Denny Stadium. And that will take Alabama to 7-0. All right. October 25th, South Carolina. This is a road game for Alabama. We got to go to Columbia, South Carolina. Now, with South Carolina, they got that quarterback, Lenora Sellers. That's a bad man. When healthy. That's the key. When healthy. Lenora Sellers can be a bad man. That defense, not bad either. They returning quite a few guys on that defense. Also, they got what was that true freshman edge rusher name from last year who was pretty damn good. I mean, that guy, man, I had his name some damn well, but I don't know what the hell I did with it. But hey, nope, I don't got his name, but I know he was pretty good. He was a true freshman. So, but anyway, I might have it right here. Dylan Stewart. Dylan Stewart, that was his name, edge rusher. That guy was good as a daggone true freshman. He earned SEC All Freshman honors. He was a freshman All-American. So yeah, he was damn good, man. They returning 9 players on the defensive side of the ball. So that defense is going to be pretty good. Probably about the same as it was last season. All right. So offensively, like I said, Lenora Sellers. If Lenora Sellers can stay healthy, they will be a damn good team, as they were last season. Some people might think South Carolina was a one-off. I kind of think that too. Their season was a one-off last season. I kind of think that too. But it's possible that they can replicate what they did last season. I'm kind of nervous about this game. I ain't gonna lie. But guess what? You know I'm picking my Alabama Crimson Tide to win. Damn right. Alabama goes to Columbia, South Carolina, and beats South Carolina. All right. Next week, November the 1st, we got a bye week. All right. November the 8th, LSU at home. Speaking of LSU, Garrett Nussmeier's coming back. Who else? On the offensive side of the ball. I know Garrett Nussmeier's coming back. I had some stuff wrote down about LSU too. But hey, it is what it is. But Garrett Nussmeier, man, this guy threw for over 4,000 yards last season, man. I think like 29 touchdowns to like 5 interceptions. Garrett Nussmeier, he's a hell of a player. But hey, it is what it is, man. They also got running back Caden Durham coming back. This man ran for over 700 yards, scored 6 touchdowns as a true freshman. All right. So Garrett Nussmeier had 12 interceptions, 29 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Linebacker Whit Weeks is coming back. 125 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and wide receiver Aaron Anderson. 874 yards last season, 5 touchdowns. Defense, they got Harold Perkins coming back too. But that defense has been terrible the last 2 seasons. All right. If LSU expect to beat my Alabama Crimson Tide, that daggone defense got to do a damn 360-degree turnaround. I'm telling you, they got to do a 360. Plus, they lost their offensive line coach, Bo Davis, who who was one of the best college defensive line coaches in in college football. That defense without Bo Davis, it might be even worse. Because like I said, Bo Davis was one of the best defensive line coaches in all of college football. Come on now. And ain't no way in hell I can sit up here and pick LSU to beat Alabama with the way that defense done played in the past 2 years. All right, I know they got Garrett Nussmeier coming back, okay? I know Aaron Anderson is there. That's all fine and dandy. But 2 or 3 people, it's going to take more than that. I'm telling you now, with the way that our defense is built. So I got Alabama beating LSU. You know what I'm saying? Alabama beating LSU at home to go what? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-0. 9-0. November the 15th. We got Oklahoma at home. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, that's a win. That is a win. Oklahoma, I know they got transfer quarterback John Mateer. John Mateer, he's a transfer quarterback from Washington State. He threw for over 3,000 yards and like 20-something touchdowns, 29, 28 touchdowns to like 7 or 8 interceptions. But anyway, they returning some starters over there. They returning running back Javante Barnes. He had 6 starts last season, so he'll be the starter this season, man. Offensive line, man. The offensive line, basically the whole offensive line is coming back. Wide receiver Deion Burks is coming back. So they got several players coming back. Now, Oklahoma, I think their defense is going to be straight, man. I'm not worried, but I'm skeptical on the offensive side of the ball, even with transfer quarterback John Mateer. How is John Mateer going to fare in the SEC? You know what I'm saying? Washington State. The SEC is a whole different level of college football when you're comparing it to Washington State. And I'm talking about the mid-tier SEC teams, man. So yeah, Dan Lanning, I think his job is on the line. I really do. I really think Dan Lanning's job is on the line. So he better get it done. But I tell you what, he definitely won't get it done against my Alabama Crimson Tide this year. I know what Oklahoma did to Alabama last year. I know that. But as I said, another bad game for Alabama. Terrible. So I'm going to get to Alabama at the end of this video. And I'll talk a little bit more about Alabama. But I know what Oklahoma did to Alabama in 2024. But it ain't going to happen in 2025. Alabama beats Oklahoma November the 15th at home in Tuscaloosa to go 10-0. And we know November 22nd, Eastern Illinois. No need to talk about that. That's a win. And that brings me to the last game, November 29th, Auburn. On the road, Jordan-Hare Stadium, and y'all know I hate Alabama going into Jordan-Hare Stadium. We done had so many issues in Jordan-Hare to terrible Auburn teams. A team that took us to 5 overtimes, a team that it took basically a Hail Mary to beat the last time we went to Jordan-Hare. 4th and 31. I'm sure y'all remember that. Auburn, you just don't know what you're going to get out of Auburn. All right. Auburn, they returning several key players too, man. First of all, they got a transfer quarterback from Oklahoma, Jackson Arnold, the guy who ran through us last season. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want to go back to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's wide receivers, they got to stay healthy because that's what cost them last season. They got to stay healthy. But anyway, they beat us last year without wide receivers. That's all I know. But anyway, getting back to Auburn, Jackson Arnold is their quarterback now. We know he can run. Alabama fans know he can run. But also, they bring him back at wide receiver Cam Coleman, a highly touted wide receiver out of high school. Some say he could possibly be one of the best wide receivers in college football. I think Auburn is holding him back. That's me. They got a transfer from Georgia Tech, Eric Singleton, that wide receiver. Malcolm Simmons, who took a lot of snaps last season. So, hey, they got another transfer, Horatio Fields from Wake Forest. So we'll see how this wide receiver core looks. I don't think it'll look real good. Y'all know I hate Auburn. Offensive line, they returning key pieces. Matter of fact, Auburn is returning key pieces all over the field. Just to put it bluntly. But at linebacker, I love this linebacker, man, DeMarcus Riddick, man. That's the guy that was talking trash about Alabama, Jalen Milroe last season. And he say Jalen Milroe wouldn't get past him, but Jalen Milroe, blew by him like the damn wind. Like he was standing still. It was crazy. But that was DeMarcus Riddick. They also returning Kendrick Falk at linebacker, DeMarcus Riddick, linebacker, and Jay Crawford, defensive back. Okay? Matter of fact, Kendrick Falk is a defensive lineman. But they returning several key pieces offensively and defensively. But Auburn is not a good team. Hugh Freeze is not the guy. No. All right. But I got Alabama beating Auburn in Jordan Hare. Will it be close? Probably, as usual. All right. And hopefully Alabama can pull it out. But I think Alabama win this game. It would surprise me if Alabama win this game in Jordan Hare by double digits. It would surprise me because they play us. I mean, it's crazy. I thought after Gus Malzahn left, all them close games in Jordan Hare would be over, but it ain't. Even with Brian Harsin, it was tough. That's the team that took us into overtime. Then with Hugh Freeze, we had to have a daggone Hail Mary. But I got my Alabama Crimson Tide beating Auburn, ending the season 12-0. You should have knew where this was going. But I would like to say this. If I had a game that I just had to pick Alabama losing, I done said it several times, it would be Auburn. If I just had to pick Alabama to lose a game, it'll be Auburn. But I don't think that would happen. If I had to pick, if you come to me and say, hey, KB, you got to pick two games that you think Alabama could lose. Two of them. All right. Those two would be South Carolina and Auburn. But I feel like my Alabama Crimson Tide can beat both of those teams without a shadow of a doubt. Now, this leads me to talk about Alabama a little bit more. Now, I'm not one of those fans that gloss over the deficiencies of Alabama. If Alabama go into a game and look like shit and play like shit, I'm going to call it out. If Alabama go into a game and throughout the duration of that game, Alabama is lacking in an area and there's no adjustments made, I'm going to call it out. If Alabama go into a game and during the game, I think the play calling is freaking just terrible. All right. You ain't making no adjustments. I'm going to call it out. That's just what I do. But in doing that, OKB get called a fair weather fan by some people. Not all, but some. You can call me what you want to call me. I don't care. I'm going to continue to call it out. I'm going to continue to say what I want to say and call out what I see. Because going back to the Oklahoma game, you know all they starting wide receivers are out. You know they got injuries all over the place on the offensive side of the ball. And you know all they doing is running the ball with the quarterback. And you still don't make no adjustments to stop it. There's an issue in your scheme or your play calling. What's wrong with calling that out? What's wrong with it? You got Vandy running the same 3 plays all night long, the whole first half. You go into halftime and come back with no adjustments made. Vandy just continued to do what they was doing in the first half. No adjustments. Come on now. What's wrong with calling that out? No adjustments against Vandy. No adjustments against Oklahoma and Michigan. You get at some point, if your quarterback ain't getting the job done, you got to replace him. You got to call that type of stuff out. But if I'm a fair weather fan by doing that, then so freaking be it. That's what I will be, and I will claim it. All right. But for the fans that want to gloss over that kind of stuff, you're gaslighting. That's what you're doing. You're gaslighting. So you're a gaslighting fan. I'll be a fair weather fan and I'll embrace it. But you got to embrace your gaslighting or gaslighting, because that's what you're doing. You're gaslighting, man. You see it, but you make an excuse not to admit it. You want to make an excuse for the team when they ain't playing up to standard, when the coaches ain't making adjustments. When the coaches ain't making adjustments, when they play calling is jacked up, that's not on the players. It is the coach's job to put the players in the position to win. Now, some things are on the players, but not everything. All right. So I'll be a fair weather fan, but for you fans out there who like the gaslight, make sure you embrace being a gaslighting fan, because that's what you are. But anyway, I got my Alabama Crimson Tide going 12-0 in the regular season. I got my Alabama Crimson Tide playing for the SEC championship and winning it. And I got my Alabama Crimson Tide going deep into the playoff with the possibility of winning the national championship for 2025. Now, y'all be blessed. And remember, KB don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, and roll damn Tide.